as the master of mankind in the war between gods.
While there is a live-action Warhammer 40,000 TV series currently in active development at Amazon MGM Studios, with the former Superman actor attached as the star and executive producer, I am quite sure most of you don't know that Warhammer almost made its debut on the big screen. And this was way before Henry Cavill became involved. I really wish I could say, I'm kidding, but I am not. And as much as the title of today's video sounds absolutely insane, there is no denying that the legendary Stanley Kubrick was quite intrigued by the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So much so that there was a time when he was seriously considering adapting it into a film. In fact, I don't think I am wrong to state that acclaimed science fiction author, the late Ian Watson, also played a huge role in this. And it is what eventually led Kubrick to consider creating a movie around it. So, WTF happened to Stanley Kubrick's Warhammer film? Well, let's find out.
As humanity rages against the dying of the light.
First things first, the Warhammer universe is huge. It features one of the most expansive, deeply detailed, and grim-dark fictional settings ever created, making it one of the most immersive IPs out there. So it is undeniable that the vast and intricately complex lore of Warhammer has attracted numerous attempts at adaptation. In fact, it should not come as a shock to you all when I say even Kubrick took a keen interest in the wargaming universe. And believe me when I say that he came rather close to developing Warhammer into a feature film. Well, it is important to keep in mind that Kubrick never officially entered into pre-production, and the whole thing unfolded through Ian Watson, who was collaborating with Kubrick on the script for the 2001 science fiction drama film AI, Artificial Intelligence. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but before AI was taken over by Steven Spielberg, Kubrick was the one helming it. To those of you wondering why I'm talking about AI when the star of today's video is Kubrick's Warhammer, I suggest you stay with me. Soon, everything will start making sense to you. After Kubrick had obtained the rights to Brian Aldiss's short story Super Toys Last All Summer Long in the early 1970s, he had hired a couple of writers for the screenplay. No points for guessing. One of the writers was Ian Watson. AI was stuck in development hell for almost 3 decades, and one of the primary reasons for the long delay was that Kubrick strongly felt that the special effects technology back at the time was not advanced enough. You see, the visionary Kubrick needed his lead character, David, to be an 11-year-old robotic boy, and according to Kubrick, no child actor could play the part credibly throughout the lengthy, infamously slow filming schedules he required without visibly growing up. Because of this, Kubrick initially looked into using CGI to create the character, but still did not believe that the CGI at the time could produce a believable, lifelike, robotic boy. This had him waiting in the hopes that digital effects would progress to a point where they could seamlessly manage the character's specific needs without any problems. Ultimately, an intensely self-critical Kubrick ended up handing AI to his friend and fellow visionary director, Steven Spielberg, in 1995, believing the latter to be the perfect director for the movie. Anyway, going back to the part that had Kubrick and Watson working together on AI, Watson at the time had already wrapped up writing the first Warhammer 40,000 novel, titled Inquisitor. Believe it or not, but both the projects pretty much influenced each other. Watson's dark, speculative ideas for the Warhammer universe inadvertently made their way into the Magpie director's mind. And while it is true that Kubrick virtually knew nothing about the tabletop game, he was, of course, very fascinated by the conceptual basis for Watson's novel. Kubrick had even asked Watson for a pre-publication copy of Inquisitor, and post-reading it, he was highly captivated by the dark, lore-rich universe. So much so, Kubrick also told Watson, "Who knows, Ian, maybe this is my next movie." Well, if this isn't a clear indication of Kubrick's sheer interest in the Warhammer universe, I don't know what else is. Also, in case you did not know this, Kubrick's famous anecdote was first shared by Watson publicly in his personal memoir essay, Plumbing Stanley Kubrick, and was later widely circulated for years, inspiring a horde of media coverage. Kubrick, who was also legendary for his perfectionism and renowned for films such as 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Shining, and A Clockwork Orange, to name a few, is also pretty famous for the flicks he never managed to make. Amongst a whole shadow career of unrealized masterpieces he almost made, Napoleon certainly tops my list. Would you believe me if I told you Kubrick's unmade movie on the French Emperor is widely considered as the greatest movie never made? Well, as much as it may sound absurd, it is what it is at the end of the day. Let me give you another example. Does the Aryan Papers ring a bell? Despite Kubrick spending years and years researching and writing the script based on the novel Wartime Lies, he subsequently shelved it. While I have already mentioned The Long Road to AI, Warhammer followed the same path but worse, because it did not even make it past the concept stage. Kubrick scrapped Warhammer to focus his efforts on what would be his final film, the 1999 erotic thriller masterpiece starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, otherwise known as Eyes Wide Shut. Coming back to Warhammer and Kubrick's fascination with the particular universe, it is quite sad that the project was never completed. I mean, had it actually happened, I can assure you that it would have been absolutely amazing. For starters, Kubrick's involvement would have put Warhammer 40K on the map much earlier. With Kubrick associated with some of the most influential movies of all time, him making a Warhammer film would have certainly increased the awareness of a franchise. And, add to this, the very expansion of a sci-fi setting. Who knows, maybe Kubrick's Warhammer 40K would have even topped Star Wars. Am I being a tad ambitious? Well, I can't really help but admit that being a devoted fan of Kubrick, I have witnessed his mastery of psychological dread in The Shining and his rigid dystopian institutionalism both in A Clockwork Orange and Dr. Strangelove. So I firmly believe Kubrick would have done a fantastic job with Warhammer, perfectly capturing the oppressive Gothic atmosphere of the Imperium of Man. Also, by now, I do hope you realize that Kubrick's Warhammer wasn't just a fan theory or some random internet shitpost. Stanley Kubrick was extremely serious about making a Warhammer movie. I mean, think about it. Why else would he specifically ask for a pre-publication manuscript of Watson's novel had he not taken an interest in adapting it? Furthermore, I'd like to point out another interesting detail here. When Kubrick had asked Watson for a pre-publication of Inquisitor, the author had provided it along with samples of Warhammer artwork and a portfolio of monster drawings by fantasy artist Ian Miller. It was only after reviewing the materials that Kubrick was enthralled by the grim, gothic sci-fi world, which is what eventually led him to express to Watson his desire for making Warhammer his next movie. In any case, the bitter truth is Warhammer was just one of the numerous ideas that were on Kubrick's mind while he and Watson were working on AI. Come to think of it, I think Kubrick was always more fascinated by the whole idea of making a Warhammer movie rather than committing to making it. You are free to disagree with me here, and if you do that, please do let me know why in the comment section. But if you want to know what I think, I am considering sticking to what I just said, because let's be honest, Kubrick never went to Games Workshop or its headquarters. There were no indications of rights negotiations, no Warner Bros. Development, and not even any draft or script registered as a Warhammer project. Like it or not, but the chances of Kubrick making a Warhammer flick were always slim, and with Kubrick passing away in 1999, the Warhammer adaptation never really went beyond those initial exploratory discussions. For passionate fans of Warhammer and Stanley Kubrick, this will always be a big deal. Had the movie been made, it would have categorically been a huge leap to mainstream cinema. As for fans of Kubrick, it's another entry in the list of movies he almost made. If you ask me, it certainly is a reminder of the endless directions his curiosity pulled him in before he died. Safe to say, Kubrick's Warhammer stayed exactly where it started. I hate to admit it, but I am almost at the end of the video. Well, what are your thoughts on Stanley Kubrick's Warhammer movie? Would you have liked it if the film was made? Also, how excited are you about Henry Cavill's Warhammer television series? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. As for me, I promise to come back with another favorite video soon. Thanks for watching and have a nice one.